Clara, exactly 1 month after you were born, or it was the 14th of August 2015, so nearly exactly a month, I was on a plane in Russia, an internal domestic flight in Russia, on a rickety old Russian aeroplane. And I hadn't got used to being a father at this point, and it suddenly occurred to me on this plane, what happens if this plane crashes? What happens if something happens to me? And what happens if you grow up not knowing me or what I think or about me? And in that moment, I whipped out my journal, which I've subsequently lost, and I wrote down what came off the top of my head in that moment as the bits of life advice I'd want to give you if I wasn't around, in writing. Of course, this applies to Archie as well, but Archie, this was more than a year before you were born. I had no idea you were even coming when I wrote this. And when I finished writing it, I felt it was worth taking a photograph of. And thank God I did, because I lost this journal. 400 pages of my journal that I'd written over the course of about 10 years. The only consolation is that not long before, in fact, just before I lost it, I actually sat down on a beach, Sintra, Praia Grande in Portugal. I sat down at a cafe overlooking the beach with a beer, or quite a few beers actually, and read the whole thing cover to cover, which I'm so glad I did, because otherwise it would all have been literally for nothing. But these are the only 2 pages, well, it's actually 4 pages, that I photographed. Right, that's it, the pages, right? That's my handwriting in my diary that I made on the plane. And let me read it out to you now. Okay, just remember this. This is as it came to me, in an airplane. Funnily enough, an airplane identical to the one I was flying in, of the same airline, did crash in Russia not long after that. I don't know if it was the same plane or not. It was one of those weird ones that has a T-tail, and it had a stairwell that came out of the plane's bum underneath the tail of the plane, and we actually came down out of the tail of the plane. So anyway, here are the 26 rules. I didn't take a photograph of the page before it where I explained why I was writing them. I wish I had. But here they are, the 26 rules that I wrote down, and I'm going to read them out verbatim. I will not change a word. Number 1, nothing really matters. One day we will all be dead, and when we are, we will neither remember nor care what happened in our lives. Number 2, in case I'm wrong about point number 1, never do anything that you know you would obviously regret looking back later. For example, hurt anyone or anything out of malice. Number 3, it's impossible to experience the past or the future. You can remember the past and imagine the future, but you can only experience the present, here and now. So as far as you can, and without compromising your future, live for the moment. Number 4, whether it be with one person your whole life or many people throughout, love as deeply and completely as you can. It makes for the best relationships and the best memories. Number 5, love, the romantic kind, is a cruel, tyrannical master, all-powerful over our thoughts and dreams. Most people fight it, deny it, try to control it, suppress it, or avoid it in other ways. To me, all of these options are futile, exhausting, and only result in more misery than submitting to it. At best, surrender to it completely. At worst, try to manage it so it doesn't hurt too many people. It's a complete mystery, and all the more magical for it. Number 6, I have never succeeded in finding myself, nor am I that fussed about it. I accept myself, strengths and weaknesses, triumphs and failures. Don't worry about finding yourself. If you did, it would probably be an anticlimax. But instead, focus on being yourself. But what does that mean? To me, it means living by your own rules, no matter what anyone else may think, say, or do. Your life is exactly that, yours, no one else's. It's not mine, it's not your mother's, it's not your partner's, it's yours. Never forget that. It's the most important thing of all, in my view. Number 7, when you encounter rules, learn to accept why they exist, whether you agree with them or not. If you decide to break them, first accept the consequences of doing so if you get caught. If you cannot accept the consequences, then obey the rules. There is very little worth losing your liberty for. Number 8, the passionate pursuit of short-term gratification is one of the best descriptions of how to approach life I've ever heard. As long as it's not at the expense of your long-term aspirations, a lesson that I learnt later than I would have liked, it's all about the here and now. What are you looking forward to next? Always have something to look forward to if you can, no matter how small. Number 9, be reliable. Never say you'll do something unless you're sure you'll do it. And whatever you do, do it as best as you can, or don't do it at all. Over the page. Number 10. In your own way, always help others when you can and expect nothing in return. Never do someone a favour if it has a price attached to it. Number 11. When bad or sad things happen, and they always do, remember that this is the price we pay for the good and happy things. There is no day without night, up without down, left without right, or in without out. Life is made up of the constant rebalancing of things. Don't let anyone tell you what to think. You must decide for yourself what you think. Number 13. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's how we learn. Number 14. Never stop learning. Choose the things which interest you and inspire you the most, and keep on learning. Number 15. Always try new things whenever you get the chance. You don't have to like them, but always try before you decide. Number 16. When people are mean to you, it's because they have a problem. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Number 17. You're not special. No one is. But you are unique. Number 18. You are special to me. Number 19. Everyone is equal. No one is more or less important than anyone else. Some people may have important jobs or positions of responsibility, but that just makes their role important, not them. Number 20. When you encounter people who think they are important, don't spoil it for them. It's hard to find joy and happiness, and if someone has it, let them enjoy it. Unless they're hurting anyone, in which case, call them out on it. Number 21. Always remember that no matter how sure you are that you may be right, you might still be wrong. Number 22. Don't worry about dying. It happens to everyone. It doesn't matter how long you live, only how well you live while you're alive. 23. But live as long as you can, please. I will. 24. Feel free to ignore me. 25. Life is like music. It's here to be enjoyed. And 26. Revel in the mysteries of life. It would be so dull without them. So that was almost exactly 6 years ago. Yeah, what's the date today? It's 9th. This is 5 days' time. That was exactly 6 years ago. No, 6 years and a month. Sorry. And I haven't read this for a while. I wonder if I'd write exactly the same today. But I mean, yeah. I wrote those on an aeroplane in case the airplane crashed. So they were spontaneous. They came from the heart. And I wanted to share them with you here in case for some reason you never get to see that photograph. I'll probably get them printed out as well and put them up for you. Anyway, there you go. My 26 little rules for life that I came up with when I was on a plane and I was worried I might not come home. I love you guys.